race was somehow between one of the skinniest guys in the entire league and one of the most muscular. Barring Zion's injury, it's impossible to say who would have taken home the award, but regardless of that fact, the skinny guy took home the title. While Ja Morant may be slimmer than anybody else in the league, he has found his workaround, blazing by defenders and nearly jumping over them if he has to. So how does he maintain that ability to jump out of the building? Well, today you're going to find out because we're going to talk about Ja Morant's insane diet and workout. Before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe below so you can stay notified when we put out new videos. Ja Morant has put the league on notice the last 2 years, showing that Zion isn't the only standout pick from the draft class. Unburdened by any Rookie of the Year narrative last year, Morant was able to just go out there and have fun, something the Memphis Grizzlies, a franchise in dire need of some excitement, were thrilled about. Morant is nearly unstoppable once he gets downhill, and if you do find yourself in his way, he might just jump right over you. While the comparison seems too far early to be made, many have already compared him to the answer, Allen Iverson. Partly for his speed, handling, and ability to score one-on-one, but also in part to their skinny frames and their ability to score in the paint despite their weight differences. But what's interesting about Ja is that he doesn't necessarily eat like a skinny guy. In fact, he and the Grizzlies were criticized when a reporter caught Morant and his team Jaren Jackson Jr. in the stands eating chili fries and chicken tenders, tweeting about the sighting, "Do the Grizzlies even have a nutritionist?" Morant and even the team Twitter page was quick to fire back, mocking the reporter for his absurd question. And for good reason, too, as nobody who looks at Morant thinks he has an eating problem. Ja could probably eat all the chili fries in the entire stadium and still somehow stay under 200 pounds. And because of his blessed metabolism, Morant is one of the few lucky guys that doesn't have to worry about his diet as much as everybody else in the league. If anything, he does try to keep a protein packed into his meals with enough carbs to keep him going throughout the day. While he hasn't divulged much of his diet, in an in-house visit from House of Highlights, Ja revealed that he isn't much of a cook himself and instead he had his father cooking for him. When asked what a typical breakfast looked like for him, the plate full of grits, bacon, and eggs spoke for itself. Then, during his training last offseason, his father stayed with him and cooked during a few weeks of intense workouts with other NBA players and prospects. All of the guys were working out hard each and every day, so Ja's father would usually cook up burgers and other meats to feed the whole crew. Ja isn't bogged down by fatty meats like bacon or burgers and can luckily enjoy it all the time without slowing him down on the court or in workouts. So the situation seemed to be perfect. Ja loved his parents cooking and they loved to cook. His father T telling the Undefeated, "Me and my wife always feed a lot of people, so it wasn't that hard to adjust to that. The only thing was figuring out what I was going to put on the menu for the day. That was the hardest preparation. I made sure I had enough for all of the people. There were only a couple of days where there were leftovers." So while Ja isn't so strict on his diet, scarfing down burgers and chili fries for a while now, he's been working overtime on his skill and physical output for as long as he can remember. Morant's previously mentioned father was pushing his son to get better at everything he did, and that certainly didn't stop with basketball. As a kid, Morant was already being put through something his father called the TTG camp, which stands for Train to Go, so that everybody would see that Morant was putting in all the work for his success, even at a younger age. His father saw that Ja was skilled, but he knew his small stature meant that he had to work on his athleticism to get anywhere in the future. So when Ja was still a freshman in high school, his father purchased several different sized tractor tires. After an on-court practice, Ja would be handed a medicine ball and did reps of jumping on huge tires with the medicine ball in hand. And now, even though Morant was hovering around 6 feet tall at the time, he was able to launch from the court and finally began to make those highlight dunks we see so often from him today, and he's got the TTG camp to thank for that. By the time last year's shutdown happened, Morant's upward trajectory was stifled, for a moment at least, as he wasn't able to showcase the results of all those years of working. So wouldn't you know it, Morant actually found himself back to TTG camp with his father, grinding away once again. According to T. Morant, Ja was itching to get back on the court as he told the Undefeated that, of course he was ready to get back out there. It was killing him on the inside. But the whole process helped him out a lot. It felt like he got an off-season. He did take advantage of that time off. Got stronger, studied the game more. It was really good and efficient. It wasn't just like he was laid up eating snacks. So while the teams around the league were still over a month away from holding voluntary workouts, the Morants had completely renovated their 2-car garage into a weight room with a full basketball court right outside. Along with a few other players and prospects, the Morants threw out IGM strength and conditioning coach Uranius UJ Johnson and IGM assistant coach Jonathan Thomas to help everybody get into shape. It was still his first season, but this was essentially Ja's first off-season workout on his body, specifically his strength, and that's just what he did. Kettlebell squats and lifts, battle rope exercises, weighted medicine ball workouts, you name it, and Morant and company did it. Morant already had the speed and agility, so every day was about gains. IGM Coach Johnson joked about the improvement they needed to make, telling Ja, "Look, this summer we got to get you stronger because we can't pull up that arm sleeve every turnover, every play. We want to keep it up there." Along with the weightlifting, Morant was also able to focus on his on-court repetitions, getting shots up on his outdoor court and working on offensive reactionary skills and coming off ball screens with the help of Coach Johnson. So by the time team practices finally rolled around, the skinny kid out of Murray State was, well, still skinny, but he added an impressive 12 pounds of muscle in just a month's time. On a Zoom media call during the bubble, Morant told the press, "I was just taking the time to get better and focus on what I needed to get better at, strength. I put on some weight during that time. Honestly, it wasn't difficult. I just used that part to get better. I love the grind." While the grind didn't get the Grizzlies into the playoffs, the new and stronger Morant continued to look like the runaway for Rookie of the Year. A big attribute to his weight gain is also something fans don't necessarily see. Morant goes to the rim with murderous intentions even if there's a Steve Adams-type body waiting for him there. So by adding this 12 pounds, he affords himself a little more security diving to the rim, cutting down on some of the risk he takes flying in there as a smaller guy. It's all well and good that he can fly by defenders on the perimeter, but if he gets bounced around at the rim, he may be hesitant to return. All in all, the quarantine workout Morant did wasn't just for the bubble or the next season, but a foundation to build on heading into hopefully a long career. Coach Johnson remarked on it, saying, "Being able to lock in for camp prior to minicamp, it was about. Yeah, you're going to get some weight and strength on you, but I want your confidence to be high." Johnson said, "You're in the mirror flexing. Cool. Well, take that right to the court. You took time off, everybody did, but now you're 2 weeks ahead of the game. Now you're going back to camp, right back at it. Then when reports come out saying you look different, that is right, because you've been working." While Morant's efficiency is a bit down this year, he's looking just as dangerous on the court. Now it's time to see if he could get his young team into the playoffs in the loaded Western Conference. That's it for today. Do you think you could do the Ja Morant workout? Let us know in the comments below, and don't